So my strategy is very boring.
What is up, you guys? This is Chris Rukov for RukovGrind, another episode from Alan from Mexico. Please give him a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment if you like that type of content. And if you don't, I'll find out really soon that I don't need to create that content for you. And, that's that. Check out the links down below for a coupon code for my course and enjoy the video, guys.
I made a course on it because I don't want to charge people like $50 to $70 for 1 hour of this, because my whole strategy that I teach, I price the course pretty much the same price. I think right now it's $45. It's 5 hours and I teach the same thing. I give ranges, 3 bets, and it's very boring strategy. And this is not what I tell you. I know it's boring, but a lot of students of mine tell me how boring it is. It's not interesting, but it makes money. You know what I mean? If you want to grind out of the micros, you gotta have the right strategy. Now, when you go to, 50 NL, yes, you gotta increase 3 bets. Even on 25 NL, you gotta start increasing 3 bets, play more 3 bet boards, play more pots in a 3 bet pot to prepare you for 50 NL. 100 NL, I think it's easier. The 25 NL, I think, is like one of the hardest, and 10 NL is another hard one. But when you go to 100 NL, you gotta be more prepared to use some of those ranges, maybe all of those ranges that you're just showing me now. But in general, you need the right strategy for every stake that you play, and I don't think this what you're showing me right now is the right strategy for 10 NL.
Okay, I agree. I agree.
What is your bankroll, if you don't mind me asking?
I think I have like $300.
Okay,
Like 30 buy-ins.
that's not bad. How many Zoom tables you play?
I play like 4 with
4.
maximum attention, and I have found that when I play 6, I tend to have worse results. So I
6?
think
You can play 6
4
Zoom
is a sweet
tables?
spot. Yes.
Yeah. So one table was, I think, so 1,000.
It's supposed to be 4 tables. Regular tables.
So one table, it's like 12? No, really? 1,000 hands an hour divided by 80 hands an hour. Oh, I mean, sorry, 4 tables is 12 and a half tables of regular tables. Okay. So hold on, square root of 12 and a half. I have a formula here. I think I've mentioned that somewhere. How do you do square root 12 and a half square root? Okay, 3.5 times 15. So in my favorite formula of bankroll, you need 53 buy-ins to play 4 tables. So my formula that I do is square root of the number of tables you play multiplied by 15. Okay. So square root of 12 and a half, which is essentially how many tables you play, is 3.5. 3.5 times 15 is 53 buy-ins. So you need 53 because the more tables you play, the more variance you experience, right? But 300 is good, and it's way better than 100. What are your results so far?
I was like a break-even player before.
Okay. That's why you're concerned about the rake. You're starting to think of small stuff instead of the big picture.
I was break-even. Sometimes I won, sometimes I lost, and now I stopped playing for some months, and I started playing like No Limit 5 just to get it going again, and I was like small winner, nothing important.
That's good.
Just
don't nothing important. That's good. Most players don't beat 5-0, so that's good. Give yourself the credit you deserve when credit's due. Give yourself a credit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on No Limit 10, I feel like sometimes I have good swing, then a bad swing. So that's why I say like break-even-ish.
Well, the ranges that you're looking at, I think they're not the right ones. I think this is part of that might be the whole reason, the strategy is important, and I don't think you have the right one.
Yes, that could be the problem, that I'm getting with a very wide range, and that tends to be all the problem because then all the rest of the hand I'm gonna be
Yeah. I mean,
very
when you
very
don't have
wide.
a good foundation of the beginning range, it only gets like worse and worse and worse down the road because you're
Yes.
like, I don't know what to do with this, I don't know what to do with this. And when you don't know what to do with anything, you are lost. You're like deer in front of headlights, you know? You just like stare at it, and most likely you're going to make the wrong decision.
Yes. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. That's what.
Yeah.
And I also have a question that I think it's
Go ahead.
a lot related what we are talking about
Okay.
because that's an issue I'm having right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the three-bet calling, the three-bet calling range. I think, well, I'm calling the like 60, I have like a 65% fold to three-bet,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I should be folding even more because people tend to three-bet very value heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are going even to make a pot bet on the flop or three-fourths, and they are going to force me to fold.
Why would they make that such a stupid thing to make a pot bet on the flop? But that's their problem, not ours. Yeah, in my strategy that I teach, you don't call a lot of three bets. Like you call very few three bets. And there's a reason for this. The students that I got are 2-5 and L. Not that's the majority, and some are playing 10, and they're playing those stakes because there's a problem somewhere in their game and they don't know how to play very well. Now, when you call a 3-bet with ace jack offsuit, I mean, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. You know what I mean?
Yes, I don't go. I should be calling with ace jack only on small blind against big blind,
No,
but
no.
also even
Ace
in
jack,
that
you
I
said. You
should
said
call.
ace jack. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. Um, and it depends also on the big blind, if he's a wild player or not. But in general, yeah, you should call ace jack small versus big. Um,
But I
but
my
it's
main
most
problem is
it's
like
not the
suited connector.
it's not the call that I have a problem with. It's what you do after the call. You go on the flop, you find a reason to call a bet on the flop, then you find a reason to call a bet on the turn, and then you fold the river, and you lose 30 big blinds. And you do that 3 times, and you one stack down. You didn't even see a showdown yet. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's what I found. Most of those players, when they bet on the flop, they're gonna bet again on the turn.
Yeah,
They are 100% of betting two barrels at least.
yeah. That's
So
that's another thing that I say all the time. I say current events tend to form future trends. You know what I mean? What's happening now, we expect that to be happening in the future. If he's betting the flop, we expect him to bet the turn. If he bets the turn, we expect him to bet the river. If he checks the flop, we expect him to check the flop, and so on and so forth. So usually after a 3-bet, they have the initiative. They're gonna bet. When they 3-bet pre-flop, we expect them to bet the flop, and so on and so forth. But if you lower your call 3-betting range, that's going to give you a very good range to play against. Why do you have problems with suited connectors? If you don't flop anything, just fold. There's no shame in folding, bro.
okay, but it's okay to call the three bet with a suited connector.
I am not a big fan on the smaller stakes to call anything, except I call it ace king suited, ace queen suited, and king queen. That's my calling versus 3-bet range. 3 hands.
Okay, so there's no big problem if I'm folding 10-8 suited, 9-8 suited,
I mean,
maybe a hand like
if when you
ace
call you
9
lose,
suited.
if when you call you lose 10 big blinds, but when you fold you lose 2.5 big blinds, do you see how it's better to fold them? It all depends. Again, if somebody sees that video, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're so stupid." Well, when you're teaching a student, to those who, if that makes YouTube, to those of you who are stupid enough to think that, when you teach a student who has a problem to play 10-9 and doesn't know what to do post flop with it, it's better to tell the student to fold it. Learn how to play, again, whatever you feel comfortable playing. If you know how to play 10-9 suited post flop, play it. If you don't. And try to learn how to play the better hand. Try to learn how to play Jack 10. You don't know how to play Jack 10? Okay, fold that too. Learn how to play Queen 10. I mean, a Queen Jack. You know what I mean? When you learn Queen Jack how to play it in different boards, then automatically somehow in your brain you're gonna know how to play Jack 10. When you learned how to play Jack 10, then somehow in your brain it's gonna make sense how to play 10-9, and so on and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Did that make any
Yes,
sense?
and also yes, and also know the population, because as I said, you most of people in those levels when they three bet, they are gonna be c betting near to
Yeah.
100%, and some of them big sizes, and most of them don't give up on the turn.
Okay, if that's the
So
case,
calling with the second pair is bad
so
decision.
here's, yeah, I think so too. So here's the thing. I haven't really done my other. I'm trying to do a second course for more advanced players, and then I'm gonna discuss player types. But imagine somebody who's three betting very tight, very tight. That means he's gonna be c betting the flop almost 100% of the time, right? Because he has a good
Yes,
base range. Like his range that he starts with is Jacks
it's super
King,
strong.
yeah, Jacks plus and Ace King. So obviously gonna see bet
Yes.
a lot. Now versus this player, what hands do we want to call with?
Alright guys, I want to cut the video here. Thank you all very much for watching. As usual, if you don't mind supporting the channel or just showing me if you have an interest in this type of videos, or leave an angry comment, it's up to you. Just let me know if that helps anybody. Leave it a like, subscribe, and a comment. That was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.